Patrick from Prepare Patriot. So students are constantly asking us about what they need for their first class. So today I'm going to go through a list of all the items that you would really need for your first class coming to Prepare Patriot. So for comprehensive carry or pistol 1, whichever class that you're going to start out in, comprehensive carry would cover our concealed carry requirements and also teach you the basics such as drawing from a holster, how to conceal well, all those things. So comprehensive carry class will need a little bit less than P1 or Prepared Pistol 1, but generally they're going to be about the same. Always, if you're new to this and you don't have any equipment and you want to do a rental, we have pretty much everything you'll need on hand for you to go through a class. So don't worry if you don't have all of this just yet. But we would like you to bring as much of this as you can to class. It just helps us out because we don't have, if we have 10 students or 15 students and just enough, it's really hard to make sure everybody has everything. So we want to make sure you bring everything you possibly can to be prepared for class. So let's start with the first and most important thing when you come to class, which is you. You must be prepared to train. And what I mean by that is, as James Yeager states, come with an open mind. Training is to make you better. It's not just about shooting. And a lot of people have a hard time with that. But really it is to make you a better fighter, a better warrior, a better father, a better person in general. It's not just about the firearm. So come with an open mind and be willing to hear everything and try everything while you're there that day. You can always discard stuff later when you leave. If it doesn't work for you and it's not the way you want to do it, that's absolutely fine. But we're teaching you what we feel is the best thing over years and years of experience that we've done that most people tend to gravitate toward. So come with an open mind. Things have changed a lot in 20 or 30 years since your grandfather was in Vietnam and you trained with him. Just saying. So some things are always the same. Fundamentals are still fundamentals. But there are some upgrades that we've had in the current climate as we've been in the best time ever to own a firearm. The guns are getting better and better, and the equipment that we use to carry them are getting better and better. So it's really awesome time that we're in. But that being said, so obviously the first thing you're going to need is a gun for class. So this would be, one of my carry guns. This is a Glock 26. It doesn't have to be Glock. It doesn't have to be a Glock 26. You just need a good firearm that's, a modern striker-fired firearm would be preferred because they perform the best. You could also come with any other gun that you have. Just be prepared that if it doesn't work, you may have to rent a gun that day to finish out the class. You do not want to spend all your time fighting a gun that doesn't work well. So that being said, you need a good gun, and you also need magazines. So a lot of people get like 1 or 2 magazines when they order or when they get their gun, and they think that's enough. That's not enough. 3 magazines is not enough. You should have 3 that you kind of have as your duty. Like these are the go time mags. They should be put away and that you don't use at all. You run them through a couple rounds a couple times just to make sure they function well, and then we keep those separate. Those are your go time mags. Your training mags should be in a whole different box and be separate. I actually paint mine orange or red on the bottom just so I can see them when I'm on the range, because a lot of grassy ranges, when a black mag falls on the ground, you can't see it. So I like to have lots of mags because the more magazines that you have that you can keep loaded, the less you have to do that in class. And what I mean by that is, if you come with a small gun, especially like a Glock 43 or a Shield, they only hold 6 to 8 rounds typically for the really tiny pocket guns, and where a full-size Glock 19 is 15 rounds. So one person on the line can be shooting much longer than the other person, so you're going to need to reload a lot, which is fine if you have extra mags. If not, you'll get through 2 mags, then you'll be going back to reload your magazines while everybody else is continuing the drills. So we like you to bring as many magazines as you can to class, especially if you have small guns. So if you're carrying a really tiny pocket pistol, let's try to get up to at least 6 mags would be great. If you don't have that, like I said, it's not the end of the world. Just realize it will affect your training and how much time you're going to spend reloading. So I'm looking at my list here so I don't forget anything in case you guys are wondering. 200 rounds of factory brass ammunition is what we recommend. It doesn't matter really what kind. You can pick any brand, whatever your flavor is. Federal is kind of my go-to. I really don't care as long as it's factory loaded and brass. And the reason why steel casings are not my favorite is they tend to be hard on the gun and cause more malfunctions. Some of them, I know you have the one that does fantastic and you never have an issue, but we see it a lot. It tends to cause a lot more problems when you're shooting. So it's fine for plinking when you're at home if that's what you want to do, but I tend to stick to brass on all of my training ammo. The other thing that you will need is if you carry a magazine every day, you might need a magazine holster. Now this is not the high quality one. I would recommend more like I like this one, which is a mag holder that holds my normal daily stuff that I carry all the time. You don't have to do that. If you carry in your pocket, then that's where you should be carrying. We want you to train the way that you carry every single day. It doesn't benefit you to come in and have, a whole big battle belt on with 15 mags if that's not the way you're walking around every day. Competition is one thing. Fighting with a gun and training the way that we train is something totally different. So I want you to think more about how am I going to have this every single day, and that's the way you should be carrying it to train. You will find all kinds of inefficiencies and problems in your setup if you train that way. If you come in with an outside the waistband holster and all these extra magazines that you never really use, they're going to work great in class, but they're not what you carry every day. So that being said, we'll move on to another portion that's super important, a holster. You really have to have a high quality holster to train well, guys and gals. So we recommend Green Force Tactical is a really great holster company. We're also working with Thad at an A&E Tactical in Hudson. We're trying to get him up to speed and making some really good holsters for you guys locally. What we prefer is a holster that has the whole loop going around the belt and snaps, or if you just absolutely refuse to wear a belt, an ulti-clip is the next best thing. Ulti-clips can stick into your pants and clip onto the pants, and they have such a crazy amount of spring pressure, you'll rip the pants before you get the holster off. We typically see females that don't want to carry with a belt wearing these. This would be for like a Glock 43. The thing about the clips that we get people all the time that come to class that carry with the clips that go over the belt, and they come off as you draw from the holster, especially under stress. And it may have never happened to you while you're just carrying your gun. But when you start to train with it, like I said, deficiencies will start to come out. So we hope that you take our advice and you get a good holster so it really speeds up the process for you when you come to class. The next thing that is probably the most important thing, if you're going to train and you get really serious about training, you will end up with a high quality gun belt. If you'll notice, this is very thick. It's very sturdy. It doesn't collapse. It's not the leather belts like you get from Walmart. They just don't hold up well. And when you put a gun and heavy magazine on a belt, they tend to start to droop down and they pull your pants down and they won't stay in place. Your whole experience will be improved by wearing a belt. When you put a belt on and you put this high quality holster on, everything stays where you want it, and you don't have issues with your mag falling off or your holster flipping out of your pants whenever you're pulling out and stuff to pulling out of the holster. So all of those things are considerations I want you to think about before you come to class. If you don't have these things or money is tight and you can't, and all you have is a belt at home, even a regular belt at home will improve even your clip type that you use on the norm when you're in training. So anything that you can do to make your training experience better is what I recommend. It just makes sense. If you're investing all this money and all this time to come out and train, you should get the best out of it. So those are the big things that you really got to have for class. The other things that I recommend are good hearing protection. So we want to keep our ears protected and firing with, now you can use the little foam things that go in your ear, those are fine, or the big muff type. These are electronic earmuffs, and they can allow you to hear us giving commands and instruction while we're on the range. So even though you have these on, it'll filter out the bang, but you will be able to hear people talking. That's important whenever you're training and you're listening to an instructor. I highly recommend those. These are the Walker razors. You can check those out on the affiliate link on our website. So another thing that you need for class is eye protection. Now, we really like the eye wraparound protection. It protects the whole eye versus, just your regular glasses. You can still get some brass dropping in sometimes. I find that if you use a hat in conjunction with glasses, that's usually the best way. These are my normal. I usually use Oakley's that I wear on the range, and they work phenomenal. Another thing that I already mentioned was a hat. When you put the hat on and you pull it down over the glasses, it creates an extra shield there where you can keep the brass from getting into your eye. A video y'all should check out is Brian from Survival on Purpose. He just did a really good safety video that covers a lot of the safety aspects. Like one thing he mentions is in there that you guys should pay attention to if you're a lady. We don't want low-cut shirts while you're on the range. This will allow brass to kind of fall into your shirt and burn you. It's not the end of the world. It's just a little distracting, and we don't want you to be distracted while you're training. So all of those are safety components of things that you should really be using while you're on the range. Let me look at something else here. As we get to the more advanced class, some other safety considerations you might want are some knee pads. When we do start doing more on the ground stuff and moving and transitioning and using cover and stuff, you can go to your knees pretty hard, and it protects your pants and it protects your knees when you just have some quick knee pads you can throw on to get through class. So that's more of a pistol 2, pistol 3 thing, but pistol 1 and comprehensive carry, you don't need those, but that's an extra safety option that you would look at. And then some other things that you should really bring to a class would be masking tape. We want you to have masking tape to be able to tape up your target. We do like the brown better than, don't buy the colored stuff. It doesn't have to be wide. It can be the narrow. That's fine. And you can buy those in packs. They're really cheap. As we get on into the more advanced classes, pistol 2 and such, I'll get into this maybe on down the road, but you might want to look into investing into an inert pistol. You're going to need this after comprehensive carry from then on anyway, so you can start practicing the draw stroke and stuff at home. They make these for any gun. Whenever they're making your holsters and stuff, they use these to mold your holsters. So if you can look up at holstersmith.com or knifekits.com, they'll carry any of those that you can imagine that they make. And you can buy those and use those when you're training to keep you safe. And we highly recommend that. It does not hurt anything to have those, especially when we get into the more advanced classes. You can start to train new techniques and things with an inert gun, which is very helpful. Some other things that you really should bring. When you go and you pay to take a class, the most important thing that you leave with is your notes. What you get out of the class is in your notebook. When you are taking notes, you're paying money for this class. Like, you are going to learn something. You should be taking good notes. This is the most valuable thing that I leave a class with, because I can always come back and check and see, what did I learn when I was there. I can go back and find quotes that I thought were really good from the instructor. All these things come and come home with me in my notebook. It's the most important thing that you leave class with. The shooting is fun, and we all love the guns and the gear and all that stuff, but the knowledge and you, the warrior, are the most important part. So, notebook, other things. If you've never trained at Prepared Patriot or been to the Patriot Pit, especially in the summer, you should bring bug spray. Like, we have mosquitoes that, no joke, will carry you away. Bring the atomic stuff, the cancer-causing, kill you bad, like the best bug spray you can buy, because they're pretty bad down there. Other things that you should be mindful of: bring clothes that you can train in. And you should also be paying attention to, like, the weather. If it's going to rain, bring rain gear. You know, it doesn't hurt to bring some trash bags to put over the seat of your car after class, especially in the advanced classes, so that if you get muddy during class, you're not getting your seats muddy in your car. All of these things are things that you should, you know, be thinking about when you come to class. On the first couple classes, you know, most of the time we're going to have things there for you, but as you get down the line, we expect you to know this stuff and start to bring things. And what I do is I get all these things, and I have my checklist. I make my checklist before any class, and then I'll put it in a designated bag, and I'll just bring the whole bag to class. I see guys and gals that come to class and they want to, you know, show 5 or 6 guns in class. And it's not show and tell. Like, your bag should be this is my lifeline when I'm in class. You should be carrying cleaning materials in here in case your gun malfunctions or something and you need to clean it. You should be carrying just a little bit of tools. Like, if your sights have a special tool that you need to adjust them, you should have that in the bag. I also carry constantly contractor bags, extra ear protection in case my main ones go down. All of these things are in my bag at pretty much all times. That way, when I'm getting ready to go take a class, I can throw my bag on and go. One more kind of bonus item. If you guys and gals are having trouble loading magazines, 1, toughen up, just kidding. But 2, you know, a really helpful tool is a Lula loader, especially if you're going through a class where you're shooting lots and lots of rounds. The way this works is you put this on. It has a little symbol showing you bullet facing which direction. You put this on, push it down, put a bullet in. And it really is helpful for people who have really weak hands, or they can't seem to get the bullets to go in easy into the magazine. Typically, I tell people to use their thumb, push it in. That's the way you should be loading your magazines. But if you're really struggling with that, don't let that hold you back. Pick up one of these Lula loaders, and you can really make a difference in your experience. So that's pretty much the basics of everything that you'll need for Pistol 1 and comprehensive carry. I know it looks a little bit overwhelming, and like I said, start with the important things. At a very minimum, you need a belt, you need a good quality holster, and you need extra magazines. We can kind of get by from there, but all these other things really improve your experience. I mean, you can come and have a really good time when you're not, you know, you're capable of hearing the instructor. You're not getting beat on by the sun. You know, you got a hat that can cover your eyes. All those comforts and all those things are super important. And one more thing, bring water. You need to drink a lot. Most people, while they're doing the training, they tend to not drink enough, and they leave dehydrated. And really, you know, that can really affect your day afterwards. You'll feel just really wiped out. So make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and bring in, you know, if you're coming to comprehensive carry or Pistol 1 with us, we recommend that you bring a lunch, because we may not get to go out for lunch. We may be working through depending on the day and the weather. But most of the time it's because people want to hang out and talk. And we find that if we let them go for lunch, they tend to be going way too long. So we like them to talk on the range, and we can answer questions and get together, and you can communicate with other great people and start some networking. And that's the best part about it. The people that you meet in training are awesome. I have a video coming on that as well. But this is the general things that you need for class. If there's any questions, you feel free to message us on Facebook at Prepare Patriot NC, or you can check out the website preparepatriotnc.com. You can find a list of all this stuff there as well. And we usually send out a pre-course email where you'll get an email telling you about all these things that you need before you come. But this is a general overview. If you're interested and you're looking into class, you can check it out again on our website, preparepatriotnc.com. It has the schedule listed out of all the upcoming classes, when we're going to be where, what county we're doing it in, all those things. You can find all of that on our website. So until then, hope that you carry smart, carry safe, and be prepared.